Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the M&K Productions Podcast. This is part 2, aka episode 95 of our best and worst of the year of 2022. And we last episode we covered our worst films 2022, but now we're gonna sing some praises and we're gonna talk about some of our best films of 2022. And of course, I'm not joined here by myself, like that'll be weird. I'm here with my best friend, my co-host, Miss Flamingo. How you doing today?
I'm one of your best friends. I'm doing well.
That's good. That's good. So,
I'm
Kristen.
good, bestie.
So, Kristen, we have covered the worst movies, and that was, a lot of fun. I was
It
listening
was a
to
lot of
it
fun.
was so much fun. But now today we need to sing some praises. We need some positivity in the air. We
We
need to
gotta
talk about
preach. We gotta preach
yes.
the good.
We have to talk about our favorite films of 2022. And I will ask this before we get started. Kristen, do you think last year 2022 was the year of the surprises? Because there was a lot of stuff on my list that I would have never thought was on the list.
It was definitely a surprise. Like anything that seemed weird or out of the ordinary or just like very unique stuff really stood out the most. Like the
Yes,
most insane ideas. Like a little talking shell became one of the most adorable animated films of the year.
I
To
know.
Alexander Skarsgård looking like Tarzan once again in The Northman. And
Yeah.
then, we had the sequel to a cat that was best friends with Shrek make a sequel. It was an exciting, pretty great year.
Yeah, and I'm excited to run it down because there's gonna be some few surprises. I feel like I'm over a list, but I'll get started with mine if you don't mind.
Go for it.
All right, so my number 10 of our top 10 best movies of the year list. Number 10 was a late entry, and that would be David Harbour's Violent Night.
Oh yeah.
Now, this movie, when I saw the trailer, I said, okay, this looks like it'll be, fun. It probably won't do well, but this movie did really, really well. They didn't run it for theaters for that long. They only ran it for like maybe like 4 weeks, like actually a whole month, and then it's out of theaters. But it's on Peacock right now, and
And it was released on digital right in time for Christmas, but I saw it
yeah,
just in time in theaters, and it was a great theater experience.
yeah, it's on Peacock. Give it a watch now, but it's so much fun. It's pretty much just Santa Claus, but he is a badass, has to save a family, kind of like Die Hard in a way, but a lot
And
more
it's
raw.
also like Home Alone.
Home Alone, Die Hard, yeah, and it's really funny. David Harbour proves why he is like such a lovable guy. Like him as Santa Claus is totally believable and adorable and funny because he has some funny ones in this movie. And I think a lot of the acting was pretty good too. I like John Leguizamo as the villain and everything. The little girl was not annoying
Yes.
and she was so adorable. That's like
And the
one of the
kills were so extreme too.
yes, especially the part in the trailer when he put the grenade in the guy's pants. Like I gotta turn around. It just blew up. That was funny.
And the very ending of it alone is just like wild.
Yeah, there's a lot of funny moments. Like that's the worst, funniest part. It's like there's a lot of funny moments, and then you tagged me in it. They're getting a sequel, and I can't wait to see what you do
Yeah, we
more
got
with
a
it.
little early Christmas wish. I mean, who knows? This could be released in 2023 and we don't even know it yet. Like they could pump this out the way they're doing with Scream 6.
Well, they said the production's gonna start in a few weeks, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind another Christmas with David Harbour. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, if he can bring the jolly spirit of a good old time at the theaters, kicking butt,
I'm down for it.
I'm game. I'm game. I'm like, bring it on.
So, Kristen, what's your number 10?
All right. Before I'm gonna mention my number 10, I do want to give the acknowledgments of some of my favorite films. So honorable mentions that didn't make the list. So that includes Marshall the Shell with Shoes On,
Mm-hmm.
directed by Dean Fletcher Camp. Woman Talking, directed by Sarah Polley. The Outfit, directed by Graham Moore. After Gang, She Said, The Northman, the Robert Eggers film. Inspection, which is also really good, an A24 film. The Wonder, directed by Sebastian Lelio. Violent Night, of course. Babylon, Glass Onion, Pearl, the Selena Gomez documentary, My Mind and Me, The Fallout, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. And then these last two films I'm going to mention, these two were so close at being my number 10, and that is Todd Field's film Tar, and as well as Martin McDonagh's The Banshee of Inisherin.
Mm.
Every time I say that, I want to say The Banshees of Ed Sheeran.
No, wrong one.
No, I know that's definitely the wrong movie, but it makes me, the way I say it makes me want to say Ed Sheeran, but Erishin.
No, no.
No, but my number 10 is definitely a film that I've this now is very special to my heart because the way I got to see this film and the emotional journey I was on for this film, I absolutely loved it. And that is coming in at number 10, The Whale, directed by Darren Aronofsky.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, the way that we are going on this emotional journey with The Last of Us, like if you watch the current episode of The Last of Us, this is the current journey I'm going on. Just emotional damage that Brendan Fraser and the characterness that Brendan Fraser makes his huge like comeback career with this. Like he is Oscar worthy
He
of,
got nominated at the time of this
yes,
recording. He
he
got
did
nominated for
get
Best Actor.
nominated and he deserves it because his performance is just heartbreaking, and you see the stuff that his character goes through in that film, you understand, and then the performances that are in this film help elevate it even more. I mean, Hung Chau also got nominated, which is just as equally worthy of a nomination, and this film, Darren Aronofsky, really nails it on this one because the last great film he did was definitely um Black Swan.
Yeah.
And knowing he's had a lot of ups and downs with his career, I think he really did a great job. And I thought the script was great for it. And I'm disappointed that I didn't even get the acknowledgement this year at the Oscars, which I was kind of bummed about. But nonetheless, there's so many great things going on with this film, with the cinematography, even though it's very bleak. I just love the way this film stands out. And just the story of itself is just an emotional ride and journey. And I'm looking at the poster for the film right now, and it says a deeply touching experience. Brendan Fraser gives the performance of a lifetime. He absolutely does. And I think if for anybody who's just interested to watch this film, just watch it because of Brendan Fraser, because it just will wreck you,
Yeah.
because it's so sad and it's just very relatable. And just the fact that he goes through almost like an eating disorder, and I got to see this when at my local film festival, and he got to come, and literally he was in the same row as me. I could have waved to him, he could have probably waved back at me, and I was just so like, I'm like, oh my god, there's Brendan Fraser right there. And my mom and I were like, oh my god. So yeah, and he talked how like meaningful this film was to him, and just the way he discussed this film made me love it even more. So I'm gonna say Darren Aronofsky's The Whale.
I will say The Whale was a late entry, didn't make it as I was recording it, and I had to put it on the honorable mentions, but I'll get to that later.
So what's your number 9, Mac?
So number 9 is a film where I said if we're in the renaissance of this certain actor, I'm all for it, and that would be Dog, directed by and starring Channing Tatum.
Oh, wow.
I had no expectation. I thought it was gonna be like a buddy, like animal road trip movie. But when you watch this movie, you realize, wow, I did not agree to be taken on this emotional journey like this. Like, come on, Channing Tatum. And I didn't realize that he directed it. And I was like, oh, this is something different. It's pretty cool. And Channing Tatum, I wouldn't say he fell off. He more like kind of did like quieter projects. Like he did Logan Lucky, and then he bounced around from some different like projects and everything like this. But this is like his first major release since Logan Lucky, and this is more like it blends his comedic styles from the Jump Street movies, and a lot of this he is a serious actor, because if you've ever seen Foxcatcher, he was tremendous in that movie as like a very serious role, and he does a good job of that because he plays a soldier with PTSD, and I think he does a great job with it. And the dog is so adorable, and like the messages and everything, the messages in this movie I think really are good. And like I think you've seen this movie near the end in the hotel scene where he was having a seizure and the dog like helped him like calm him down. And I'm not gonna lie, that got me a little bit because I felt so bad. And then when they made it to the funeral and the dog was like shaking but Channing like calmed her down and everything, I thought that was very emotional. And I'm like, this movie is an emotional roller coaster and has a great ending. I love it. And surprised it didn't get enough like attention this year. I've been telling people like, hey, check out this Channing Tatum movie, Dog, and they're like, "What?" So
Channing Tatum does not get enough credit as an actor. Sometimes I feel like since his career has gone on. I mean, he can deliver an emotional project. Like, I'm excited to see him in the new Magic Mike film, the last conclusion of that chapter of his life.
With the
And
fine
he,
Salma Hayek, I might add.
yeah, I'm ready for that film, Mac. And yeah, he can deliver. And I thought this film Dog was pretty good. And he did like co-write the film from what I remember. And definitely it was a film that some people saw, but then not as much discussed after the fact. And I probably knew he wasn't probably going to get this like award recognition, because sometimes when a film was like released during that February, January time, some films do fall under the radar after that, because we're focused on Oscar season. So definitely a good watch. I
Yeah, I
must say,
loved it.
I was crying at the end as well myself, because anything like the dog gets to me. So good choice.
Thank you, thank you. What is your number 9?
My number 9 is something very, very daring. And um, this is a place we're gonna go to and travel and talk about. You have to get yourself your name on the list of this place.
Oh my
They serve
god,
only the best of the best.
I already know we're just going.
We're talking The Menu,
Yes.
directed by Mark Malloy, starring Ralph Fiennes, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Nicholas Hoult. And I was not expected to go on this crazy restaurant journey that's like a satire and horror film
Was that
comedy.
I was not expecting it to be a horror movie. Like, I did not know where I was going when I saw the trailer. I didn't know what it was gonna be, like, honestly.
Honestly, I thought we were gonna get like another year for like I thought the year 2022 was the year of the cannibalism
Uh-huh.
stuff, and I thought, oh, Ray Fiennes is gonna kill everybody and he's gonna serve it to Nicholas Hoult and Anya Taylor-Joy. No, literally, it's just like the worst of the richest people in the world. So, we got the movie star, the workers who work at the big, like, almost, I don't remember if it was like a big tech company, but it was like, the bro workers who got to
Yeah.
go. And
Isn't
then,
it isn't it funny that Ray Fiennes, like, back to back years, he's been in movies that were released at the end of the year and no one had any expectations for, and they turned out to be really good, with the
yeah,
Kingsman and The Menu. Good for him.
yeah, definitely. And, we have the fancy restaurant critique who's just like really into it. We got the old couple, who's part of this journey. And it's the most nutsy adventure take on a restaurant I've ever seen. And it's unlike anything else I have seen in terms of looking at the rich. It's like interesting nowadays how we're looking at the rich and just poking fun of it, because I've seen that a lot, even looking at shows like, White Lotus, and that's like this but just horror, but kind of in a way. But definitely like the performances shine from Nicholas Hoult to Ray Fiennes to Anya Taylor-Joy, who kind of sees like Ray Fiennes on his level. Like, she's like, I'm not putting up with this stuff. Like, what the heck is going on? I
Do
only
you
signed
think
up to be on this guy's date.
do you think that Anya Taylor Joy plays the same roles? Kind of. I read an article like that. I was like, I don't know.
I don't think so. I think she was signing up to get whatever she could get for a while, but then, she was trying to make a name for herself as an actress. But nowadays, I feel like she's really exploring her career and taking on stuff that probably brings her, no offense, joy, or just no pun intended, but just unique roles that she could see herself playing in. And she does excellent when it comes to horror. I mean, we've seen it in Split, of course. So this is
Yep.
like, a game of horror. We've seen her done and well. And this one, she just continues to excel in great roles. And I thought the direction was great. The scares were good. I mean, the ending for this film, I couldn't look at a cheeseburger the same way ever again. I
Yeah.
was just like,
It doesn't
oh
help
my
that I had
God.
Wahlburgers tonight.
Oh no, I never had Wahlburgers. I've always wanted to have that. But anyways, um yeah, I was very pleased with this film. I was laughing and horrified in my seat when I was watching this. I really did love it, and I thought the script was really well done. It would certainly exceeded my expectations and didn't, you know, it wasn't as predictable as I thought it was going to be. It really wasn't. It really took me on this unique journey that I really enjoyed. And like I said, the performances and script and the direction. outstanding. And how another film that stars Hong Choi in it. Like the girls killed it in 2022. So good for her, and I'm happy with this whole cast. I feel like this cast should have been nominated for a SAG award because it was just so unique and wild.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely crazy fun. Go check this out if you haven't seen it. The Menu, it is available on HBO Max. So go see it there. All right, Mac, what's your number 8?
All right, so number 8. This is where you'll see a lot of my rewrites for my script or my list. Originally, this movie was at number 3. Okay, so I'll give you a hint.
Ooh, I like
this movie was released in March of last year.
Okay.
And originally when I saw it, this was number 1. And after a few other movies, it moved all the way up to from 1 to 2 to 3 to 5, all the way to 8. And let me tell you something. It made me feel something in the way when I put the Batman on number 8.
I'm vengeance. Whoa! This guy's crazy.
Wow.
I know. There's people who had this at number 10, and I'm like, this is not number 10. Like, out of time, the Batman was number 1, but there were so many other great movies that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to put Batman somewhere because it was either gonna be 8 or it was gonna be on honorable mentions, but it had to be on the list. I love the Batman.
I remember you mentioning that in your best of 2022 video, and yeah, I was surprised you put it at number 8
because it's so okay. Even though the Batman's great, I will say there are some flaws. Like, first of all, that runtime is way too long. Like, I get, exploring the character. I do appreciate that. I like Matt Reeves as director and his storytelling, but cut down a little bit. Like, you cut down a little bit. Like, I feel like there's points, like the part when they arrest the Riddler, that could have ended it right there. But I guess you need the last one to end the story like that. So I feel like that's fine. Or like not even do the Joker at all. Like, just cut that scene out. And what would have made like a cooler ending is when he was giving the speech on top of the stadium, and it cuts to black like that. That would have been a better ending.
And just picked off, I guess, the sequel where we left everybody.
Yeah, like I think that would have been cool just to like gauge your interest. But even with those flaws, I think the Batman, it was really great because they proved a lot of things that people were scared about. They're like, oh, the production is cursed, or Robert Pattinson is a good Batman. And that's one complaint I don't get. People like, oh, he's a shitty Bruce Wayne. I'm like, you do realize that this Bruce Wayne he doesn't know how to be Bruce Wayne yet. He's still angry at the world. And, I know people like, oh, it's not comic accurate. I'm like, this is literally year 1, year 2 Batman.
It's taking the dramatic side of what we saw from
the Dark Knight and everything.
Yeah, and this is what it is for, I guess, the newer generation. And not Rain Johnson. Oh my God. What Reeves. Is it? Matt Reeves. Thank you. I don't know why I was saying
And yeah, but the Batman was it was so great. And then the action and the fact that this movie was not nominated for best cinematography is utter bullshit. Like,
yeah, the cinematography category, which is obnoxious this year. Like, even Top Gun Maverick did not get it.
Or even best score, because the score in this film was amazing.
It's what the heck was going on with the Academy there on that point.
But no, I'm excited to see the world that they're building with the Batman, and I really feel like that this really was like the year, I think, like DC could have taken over from Marvel, because Marvel was slumping with Phase 4 and DC was killing it with the Batman. And I feel like the Peacemaker came out earlier that year too. Also, shout out to Peacemaker. So I do feel like DC does have some stuff to work off of. They just gotta play catch up now with Marvel, and now the whole James Gunn thing. Maybe they can actually get a sense of direction, especially with Shazam: Fury of the Gods looking pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I liked that trailer, not gonna lie.
Yeah. So, but what is your number 8, Kristen?
My number 8 is a very, very indie film that I was very happy and fortunate to see, thanks to my friends over at Film Fest for letting me cover Tribeca. And if I didn't see this film, I feel like I don't know what I would have done. I would have been so upset. But number 8 is a film called A Wounded Fawn, directed by Travis Stevens. This film is so insane. And it's got Greek mythology in it mixed with like modern horror. Like I like Travis Stevens a lot as a director, but now he's becoming like, I think, this horror director like icon, like artist in a way. Like I love his work, what he did with this film, and the acting. Let me tell you, it's so remarkable in this film, especially from the if you know comedian turned director and actor Josh Rubin. He's done like a lot of comedic stuff, like if you've seen his film Werewolves Within. This is like a performance where like he turned himself director. Like he's so dramatic and scary in this role, and the costume design, there's practical effects in this film, and everything is just insane to the T. And the way there's a death that happens in this film, especially to our antagonist in the film, and like the most insane thing, and literally the horror moments keep going even as the credits roll. Like it's just this film keeps going, and the credits roll to see this character continue to die on screen, and I'm just like, are we gonna end it here? And literally the film ends as it cuts to black, and you just go to the next screen. It's a Shudder original, and I'm so happy Shudder picked up the rights to this film. It's wild, insane. It's unlike any other horror film I've seen, and I can't praise it enough because it's just wild and creativity. If you want to see my film, head over to TikTok at Film Fest Report to see my thoughts on it. But yeah, if you have a Shudder, go check out A Wounded Fawn. It's artistic, it's beautiful and insane, and with great performances that's being overlooked. But shout out to the team, because they actually got nominated for a Fangoria award.
Ooh.
So 3 awards for cinematography. Actually, Josh Rubin got nominated for his performance, and streaming film awards. So please go out and watch the film and vote for them as well. So yeah, what is your number 7?
Funny enough, my number 7 is also a horror movie too. And that's gonna be Scream 5 or Scream 2022.
Ooh,
a film
yeah.
you told me when I saw the trailer, and I told you this trailer looks like shit. I'm not looking forward to the movie. You said give it a chance. I said okay, fine. And I went and with no expectations, and I left, and I was thoroughly entertained. Radio Silence knows what they're doing with the Scream franchise. They made a good bridge of the new generation of Scream fans with the old guard, of course, and paying respect and tribute to the late great Wes Craven as well, too, because they were managed to. I was scared they're gonna be like, oh, whoa, we're gonna disregard all the other ones. This is gonna be our own interpretation. You could tell that they're fans of Scream, and like they wanted to tell this type of story. And I feel like that it's a good way to set up like for the new movie that's coming out this year, which I didn't see the trailer because I don't want to get ruined with it. But like I just love Scream, man. It was so good. The kills were awesome. The story was investing. I like the characters and the fact that a lot of the characters are connected to the older cast. I thought that was pretty cool. Seeing Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox, and David Arquette back was just amazing. And like, and the kills are just good too, and the reveal of the killers, I would say, were pretty interesting. It was a little cringy when I first watched it, but when I rewatched it, I said, okay, I kind of like that. And I think it sets up perfectly for the new movie coming out, because I'm curious to see. And like, speaking of which, Jenna Ortega, she was hot this year. She was on a lot of good stuff this year.
She was in a lot of stuff this year, and I'm like reviewing it. She's in, I think, 2 of my favorite films this year, and I was like, even in my honor in The Fallout, if you haven't seen her in that, she's also great in here. But my next film I'm going to talk about, Jenna Ortega is a hot ticket item at the moment. Anything with in it, everybody's watching. She's a good actress, I'm not going to lie. She's actually the best part in Wednesday, honestly.
Sid, it's happening. 3 attacks so far.
Web.
Whatever his link is to our past, it ends here. I've seen this movie before?
Not this movie, Sydney. Scream. Rated R.
My number 7 is actually another movie Jenna Ortega was in, and that is T.I. West's film. Not West. Oh my goodness. T.I. West's film X.
Oh.
And most people rated Pearl a little bit higher on their list, but the way I see it as, we wouldn't have Pearl if it wouldn't be for X. And
That's true, yeah.
because I was thinking about it, nobody really knew about the sequel coming out, once, X was released, and it did pretty well at the box office or at the, independent box office. And then it was also released theatrically, and it did really well, praised by audiences, was out South by Southwest. It was great. Good scares, great horror, had that 70s feel and vibe.
Yep.
And it was just a unique premise, and what filled with great performances, especially from Mia Goth and Brittany Snow, and even Kid Cudi. Like, I was not expecting Kid Cudi to be in a film like this.
I love Kid Cudi.
Kid Cudi could act, and it was all great fun horror, old school horror that I really did enjoy, and the makeup effects alone for that film are just outstanding. Just a very dark film that involves, love and just taking boundaries to the next level. It's just insane what it does with the story. And I thought T.I. West really brought this like old school horror film to life. Like, if you think of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, think of like the realm of that in the 70s, think of that and just think of modern day horror. That's the way I could see it as. And it's good. It's fun. Good kills. And yeah, horror film, I must say, for 2022 was exceptional compared to 2021.
Oh yeah, I feel the same way too.
Because I was thinking about it like not last year, but in 2021, I was making my horror list, like my favorite horror films. I only had 4 favorite horror films in 2021. This year, I had so many that I was like, oh my gosh, which one tops the next?
I'm not sure if I even had a horror movie in 2020. Let me double check. Keep talking.
But yeah, if you haven't seen X or Pearl, there's going to be a third one called Maxine. It's not too late to jump on the hype train of what is the T.I. West universe of horror, because Maxine will be the conclusion of this X trilogy. And Mia Goth did write the film with T.I. West for the sequel to that. And then I don't know what's going to be in store for Maxine. I just know it's probably going to tell the tale right off the bat with we last left off Pearl in that universe.
I like how it's like an anthology. It's like literally like they're making a.
It's the Pearl anthology.
I was gonna say, yeah, I like it. Move over, J.J. Abrams, you hack. We got Pearl.
Oh no, we got Pearl in the realm.
Also, speaking of which, I checked my 2020 list, 21 list. The only horror, like sort of horror movie I had was Army of the Dead at number 10. So much better.
Yeah, much better year. I'm excited. I mean, so far, everybody's been loving Megan.
Oh yeah, the Yas Queen, Chucky. I'm so excited.
Who knows? Megan might be on some best horror list by the time we have to make our 2023 list.
It is already number 10 on my list.
Oh no.
It's low-key kind of good. Like that's the funniest part. Like all the memes is actually good, but that's for another video. But my number 6, Kristen, we're gonna go to Japan. We're gonna hop on a train. We're gonna turn on some BSGs, and we're just gonna stay alive because stay alive. We have Bullet Train, a movie where I saw the trailer and I said, yeah, I gotta see this in theaters. Like, this looks so fun, and it's such a fun movie, man. Like, I had so much fun with this. Like, did you like Bullet Train?
I did.
Like, did you see it in theaters?
I did see it in theaters.
Okay, yeah, because it's on Netflix right now too.
It's like one of the most poppin' movies on Netflix. It was trending on Netflix for a while.
It's funny. It's fun. It's engaging. It's entertaining. Like Brad Pitt, man, in this movie, absolutely.
Don't forget Tangerine and Lemon. Oh my god.
Well, I was gonna get to that, but Brad Pitt, first of all, he plays a role where it's a guy trying to better his life as an assassin, and he's a pacifist, so he doesn't want to kill anyone. But the situations he ends up in is just a train full of assassins being Tangerine and Orange with Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Tyree Henry. And can we just talk about how great Aaron Taylor Johnson is in this film?
He's great.
Like
He's
this,
like the action star of the year, one of the action stars of the year.
This guy, we met this kid in freaking Kick-Ass like all these years ago, and now look at him. He's fully grown up, most likely gonna play James Bond, and he's just awesome. And I love the chemistry between him and Brian Tyree Henry. It was awesome. Like shout out to Thomas the Tank Engine, you know, been using those metaphors. And I feel like that every engagement, like action scene, was entertaining. I really liked when Brad Pitt fought Bad Bunny and Zazie Bates. Those were two of the funniest ones to me.
The Zazie Beats part was so short.
It was funny though, because he reminded me
of fun.
What was his name? Scary Terry from Rick and Morty, because she kept saying like bitch.
Yeah.
It was funny, but and then I like, you know what? I'll even say this. I enjoyed Joey King in that movie because she was kind of funny, entertaining. I was like,
I just couldn't buy her as an assassin.
No,
that's the
like,
only thing.
I'm like, Elle, get out of here. And then when she got ran over by the tangerine truck, that was hilarious.
Spoiler alert.
You already see it. Whatever.
Well, I've never seen it. Our audience may have not seen it.
Well, it's February of 2023. Come on. But yeah, I love Bullet Train. And, you know, I would say make a sequel, but I feel like this is good for like this one movie. I don't think you need to make this a franchise.
They're gonna, at some point, they're gonna make a sequel to it.
Yeah, I mean, if you do, it probably won't be as good as the first one, but I still feel like that it's just this is good as its own little contained thing. Because what can you do after this? Like a train, like a boat, a plane.
They'll literally do a plane.
Yeah,
it'll be like something like a extreme snakes on a plane, and then it'll be Brad Pitt just trying to fight off everybody to figure out who's the assassin and just literally like kill everybody with, I don't know, like dental floss or something.
Also, shout out to the cameos. We had a Channing Tatum cameo and Sandra Bullock.
And it goes back to the Lost City.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, because I think you're the one that told me that, is that they filmed the Lost City first and then they did this.
Yeah. And it was just funny, like how the way the whole sequence of events turned out. It was like, oh yeah, this is like the same cast. But wait, Brad Pitt had the cameo in Lost City. Meanwhile, Channing Tatum had the cameo scene. Oh, good film though.
I know
it was a good film.
I was entertained. But Kristen, what's your number?
My number 6 is on my list. The Batman has made a little bit higher on my list at number 6, cracking at that list. So close to becoming at number 5, but yeah, the Batman, definitely a Matt Reeves insane thrill ride. I'm saying insane a lot in this.
Insane in the membrane.
But no, Matt Reeves delivered in every single way possible, from the villains that were brought to the screen, from Penguin to Riddler, and then we got Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, plus Robert Pattinson, who absolutely delivered as the Batman. Like, you know, I don't know how you could top yourself from, you know, Christopher Nolan's Batman with Christian Bale. Then we had, you know, Ben Affleck. You know, he was pretty good, but no, Robert Pattinson's like, no, sir, let me put an ace down, and he aced the role and just excelled in every way possible, from the cinematography to the direction to the score by like Hans Zimmer, and just everything possible was just excelled to every single expectation that you had going for this film. And just, the action was great. The set pieces were great. Everything was just out of this mind, like blew out of the water. Like, I don't know if you had to put the 2x2 like comparison. I don't even know if I could love which one I would love more, the Christopher Nolan Batman or Matt Reeves Batman. But it's hard to compare the two because both visions are just so different from each other, you know?
What was your favorite sequence in this film? Because I think for me, it's a tie between the opening action scene, the opening like subway when he was beating the hell out of the guys, and the bat chase scene.
That bat chase scene is so iconic, and that's what made it come in at number 6. I was saying to myself when I was creating my list with all these films, what scene lasted in my mind the most, and what scene could I like remember or recommend people? And that is definitely that bat chase scene. You cannot deny that chase was absolutely insane. Again, here's that word, insane. Just mind-boggling to film, and just even the funeral scene that happens too, where the church scene. Like
Oh
the
yeah,
funeral.
when the car drove through.
Great. Like so many good action sequences in this film. Just can't recommend it enough. Because you said a lot of great things for the Batman, and I cannot deny that I also agree with them. So just the runtime also made it cut short, but making it to like in my number 5 spot. But yeah, definitely the Batman.
Wait, is this 5 or 6?
This is coming in at number 6, so close
okay.
to coming at number 5.
It's hard, man. There's a lot of good movies this year. But speaking of number 5, my number 5 is a movie we did an episode with someone back in late July, early August, and I had not seen the movie, and I finally saw it in the fall of 2022, and I was greatly entertained, and that's Jordan Peele's Nope.
There's something out here. Yeah, nah.
No.
No?
Nope. Mm-mm.
Nah. No. Nope. No. No. Nope. Hell no.
Wow.
Now,
really?
now this is a controversial pick, and you may ask, Mac, how can you be so controversial yet brave at the same time? Well, because a lot of people put Nope as their most disappointing or underwhelming movies of 2022. I don't think that's the case. I think Nope delivered for what it was going to be. Will I say I'm disappointed a bit because I thought it was aliens? Yeah, a little bit, but I still like the concept of it. And the performances were great too. I like Keke Palmer; she was awesome in it. You know, shout out to Keelan and the Bee. Daniel Kaluuya.
And True Jackson VP.
Oh yeah, and then Daniel Kaluuya, he was great too as the brother, as OJ. And shout out to Steven Yeun. I liked his performance too, and I like the cinematography. This is another film I think should have got nominated for something because the cinematography.
You're not alone. I saw some other people consider this film.
Like it's good, and the sound design. Like, come on, sound design was amazing. But I like the cinematography. Like I said, I did like the story was investing too, and like the parts where you saw the alien come down and eat people, that was so awesome. And I really wish I saw that movie in IMAX because I wouldn't want to see that in that big screen.
I got to see it in IMAX, and I was happy I did, but I didn't think you need to see it in IMAX, but I saw it in IMAX.
But I enjoyed it, and I think I'll say this is probably my second favorite Jordan Peele movie. Number 1 is still Us, then third's Get Out.
I agree. Like I always thought, Get Out was the best one that Jordan Peele has done, but then I thought Us was good, but I liked I liked it, but I was like, if I'm gonna pick the one over the other, I'm gonna pick Nope over Us.
Yeah, I can't wait for this next movie. Yes.
Yeah. It's gonna be yes.
It's got to be an acronym for something, but like I don't know. Nope was pretty good. I did enjoy it because
I'm curious to see what his next project will be.
Oh yeah, so we're gonna be waiting, but for the meantime, we got Nope and cue discussions on which one of his movies is number 1 and which one's the least favorite. Because the thing with him is that none of his movies are bad. It's just more of like which one's the least most underwhelming, but still good.
Yeah, do you remember even when Logan Paul put out his like review?
Oh yeah, didn't he say that movie was bad? Nope was bad. Like, shut up. I hadn't even watched it yet, and I was just like, you're dumb.
He tried to make himself like a movie nerd. I'm like, get out of here, no.
Go scram crypto, you bastard. But Kristen, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is definitely a film that wasn't on many people's like top 10 lists, and I was very disappointed. And I'm disappointed nobody got to see this film or get the praise as much as we, talked about it. But that is coming in at number 5. The Cage himself, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Can I say that's my number 4 too?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's my number 4, yes. And whatever you say, I will echo that sentiment. This movie was the fact that this movie was not on everyone's top 10 list, that kind of pissed me off.
I'm Nick fucking Cage.
And so let me just quickly explain. This is an action-packed comedy with Nicolas Cage playing himself that challenges characters that he's caught between a superfan played by Pietro Pascal and a CIA agent played by Tiffany Haddish. And let me just tell you, Pietro Pascal was in like 2 comedies in 2022, The Bubble and then The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. The comedy that he was given in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is absolutely hysterical in every way, and he delivers in every single way. Love the drug scene that he does, and the timing of it all. He does it really well with Nicolas Cage, and just it's hilariously funny, and it's just corny and cheesy, and it's just you can't get enough with the 2 of them when they're together, and that's what I really loved about this film. Even Tiffany Haddish is great in this film, and Sarah Hogan is in this, and then Neil Patrick Harris is in his small scenes, and Ike Barinholtz. Like, everybody delivered. I love the cinematography from this, and just the way this was like a true love letter to Nicolas Cage. Because if you're a true like Nicolas Cage fan, like Mac and I both are, then you're gonna absolutely enjoy this. But I understand why it didn't make many people's list, because it's just the humor is very different from.
It's very like freaking specific. Unless you're like a film nerd or a Nicolas Cage fan, you get the in jokes. Or like if you are like a film nerd. Loser, yeah, like you won't laugh, because I was the only one in the theater laughing at some of these jokes. My dad's like, yeah, I thought it was okay.
My sister like enjoys Nicolas Cage, but she enjoyed every single minute of it just like as much as I did, and I just really loved it. I really did. I thought the characters were great. A lot of it was very memorable, and I couldn't get enough of the direction. It's a shame it wasn't like it recognized for like any award stuff, because just Nicolas Cage of himself is award worthy of enough, because like not many people can say like they played themselves on screen and really brought like
and actually played a great job of playing himself.
Yeah, and just it's an extreme version take of himself, and I just can't get enough. I can't wait to show more people this film, because it wasn't exposed enough. Even Lionsgate reported that it was like their lowest grossing film for like 2022, and I was just like, that's a shame, because the way they did it, it was just outstanding. It really was. Really one of the best comedies. So that was my number 5.
Your 4, you mean?
My number 5, but now I'm going to say my next. I'm going to go to my
number 4. That's right, because my number 4.
Because your number 4.
Yeah. What was your number 4?
Also, it was just a little bit higher. Mine is a little lower. So number 4, as a true Scream fan, I had to put it as number 4 because I loved it. You remember me talking about how much I went crazy for this film, between the scares, bringing back everybody, the story, and the villains, performances. Just everything was fresh and new, but stuck to the original. And I can't say any more great praise about it. You took a majority of the words out of my mouth when you talked about it earlier. I'm excited for the new one, and that's all I can basically say. If you want to know more about our thoughts, just head on over to the episode or go check out my Instagram page, because I just love the Scream film so much, and I just was like on pins and needles on this film, and I just loved it. So that's my number 4, Scream 5 or Scream 2022. What do you call this film?
Like, I call it Scream 5.
Scream 5. Sometimes, like when I was making my like post about it, I was calling it Scream 2022.
Well, it's like, because like you're like, oh, did you see Scream? Yeah, I like Scream. Yeah, what's your favorite Scream? I like the part when they asked her what's her favorite Scream movie. I said, "What
they don't do that in both films."
Yeah, like I'm like, what Scream are we talking about? Scream. Okay.
Just the one with Jack Wade.
Okay, so the new one. All right. Oh my gosh, but that. Dang it, why'd I have to do it? Just say Scream 5 for Scrifum, like Scriforum, but we're on to number 3, because number 4 was Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent for me. Number 3 for me is a film which was a lot of people's number 1s, and I just like I saw it, I was like, it's good, but it's not my number 1. Do you want to make any guesses what my number 3 is?
Did I have a hint? I'll
give you yes, it is hint. It was one of the biggest surprises of the year.
Oh no, see, like that was a lot of them for this past year. Is it an animated film?
No, it is not. It's live action.
Oh, live action. Trying to think of what it was based off your list from what I remember. Ooh, is it a horror film?
No,
No, is it a drama?
it can be considered a drama. There's some drama
Oh,
elements in it.
ooh. Is it a streaming film?
It is on a streaming site, but it was in theaters.
Oh, it was in theaters. Interesting. Oh, oof, you're getting me stumped here.
You want me to say it, or you want to make a
Yeah,
guess?
give out the answer.
Top Gun Maverick.
Maverick?
You know what happens to you if you go through with this.
I know what happens to everyone else if I don't.
Let's get to work.
Top Gun Maverick, rated PG-13.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, Top Gun Maverick. I remember I saw the trailer, but the trailer dropped before quarantine hit. Like, this has been delayed for almost 2 years, and it finally came
Like
out.
2.5 years.
Yeah,
So,
and
honestly,
oh my god, like this movie is awesome.
it was worth the wait.
Honestly, I had no idea. Like, I was like, oh man, it's probably going to be like one of the modern day sequels of like disrespecting the original film. But no, Tom Cruise is like, you're not touching my bread and butter. I'm coming in. You're gonna listen to me in my Scientology ways, and we're gonna make Top Gun Maverick. And it turns out to be not only critically and financially like successful, but has kind of shaped the blueprint of like being what we expect from a sequel or a continuation of a franchise, because it's going to be Top Gun Maverick's going to be a blueprint for how to kickstart life into your movie, your series after like X amount of years you've had it. So, and the fact that this beat out like 3 Marvel movies this year is absolutely ridiculous. It's crazy. That shows that people will watch stuff different
Or cared about the theater going experience, because that's what everybody was talking about when they were talking about Top Gun Maverick. I mean, it was the hottest film of the summer. And I saw it opening weekend. Every single weekend I was going to see something else that was being released. Top Gun Maverick had at least, I don't know, 10 people in the theater.
Yeah,
there was somebody in the audience for it, and somebody was like going to see it, and knowing it was you didn't have to even see the original. You could just go in straightforward and just enjoy it. It was even a family film, because there was like young kids I was talking to, and they were like, "Oh, Miss Kristen, I saw Top Gun Maverick," and I'm like, "You saw Top Gun Maverick with that language in the film?" And they're like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "Oh, okay." And they're like, "We loved it." And I was like, "Yeah, I the too." Yeah. So it was a good film. It was a good film that was like that popcorn feel film where you can go and enjoy it for the event of it all. Like basically what Avengers was, Top Gun was like, I don't even know, like flew it out of the park. So saying blew it out of the park, it flew. Jet.
Top Gun Maverick was just like awesome. Like, that is what I want for my summer blockbuster movies from here on out. I demand it. Like,
and you didn't even get to see it in theaters, right?
No, I watched it on Paramount Plus, and that's my only regret. Which is
just as good.
I know, but it's like, I wish I think they said they might re-release it, and I might try to go see a re-release on it. I feel like
it's worthy of seeing it in a theater. Like, I got to see that in IMAX, which is, they got to use, IMAX cameras for it. And it was worth seeing IMAX. If anybody can go see it in IMAX, go see it in IMAX, because it's the sound design in that film alone and the cinematography. It's like I mentioned it earlier. It is a shame that film did not get a cinematography nomination, because it's basically, the cinematographers had to track the same time the flight people were going up. Like, it was insane what they had to capture.
That's good coordination.
Thank you. There was a lot of like hands-on material for that, and just knowing how long it took them to film a single shot. And interesting enough, we are going to talk about hopefully in an upcoming episode, Devotion. Hopefully, fingers crossed we get our, no promises yet, but when Top Gun was being filmed, Glenn Powell was working on this film called Devotion, which was also released in 2022. So he basically took what he learned in Top Gun Maverick and put it to Devotion. And Glenn Powell is also a great staple for that film, between the performance of that from Lewis Pullman, who was a great actor, and then Miles Teller, who had like a great summer. You know, everybody who was in the Top Gun Maverick, who was like a starting character in that film, like supporting, just it flew their career, you know, to next levels.
Well, so, Tom Cruise laughs in his Swiss bank account because this was #1 for the highest grossing film, but a certain Blue People film took it.
Yep.
But what's your number 3, Kristen?
My number 3 is a Sundance film that I got to see that was picked up by Searchlight Pictures and was produced by Will Ferrell and Adam McKay. And it's a film that has the Winter Soldier in it.
Sebastian Stan.
Yes. And the girl from Crawdad Sings, Daisy Edgar-Jones, in a film called Fresh. In a film that starts off as a horror comedy, as a comedy, romance film, as you might say, it turns into a nightmare. Yeah, and Sebastian Stan is a cannibalist, and he likes to dance and do all sorts of crazy things and kidnap girls and sells out their body parts like it's Hello Fresh. Honestly, like he sends out packages, not kidding. Y'all, if you did not see Fresh, go check out MVK's film. It's available on Hulu, and it's only available on Hulu. And let me tell you, when I saw this film at Sundance, when I was doing it from Sundance from home, I was like, I gotta see this film. Knowing it's Sebastian Stan and knowing the premise alone, like a girl goes on a date by a mysterious guy. I'm like, what could go wrong? Like it sounds like, you know. But the way she filmed it and the way it was whole crafted together, it's so unique, wildly original. Had me on my, like, basically what the screen did had me on my toes the entire time. Just the comedy was great, and characters were good. Everything felt complex in that film and just nuanced, just so different from what I don't normally see from a horror film. And just, you know, the way they took it from, like, you know, someone who seems so perfect and genuine for like a raw romantic comedy, because it has those elements at the beginning of the film, and then it just turns it and it flips the script upside down, and just it's very wild and different. Like, have you seen Fresh?
No, I have not.
Oh my gosh, we got to talk about this film one day for the podcast, because I just adore this film like crazy. Like, so good, wildly original, and I love the script for it. I thought it was one of the best, and this is another film that's actually nominated for a Fangoria award. So definitely, if you could think Sebastian Stan can also play a villain, just check him out in this film. It's great. It's wild, fun. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, what's your number 2?
So, fun fact for number 2. My dad and I were just talking about this movie. He said he loved it, but he hated the ending. And that's going to be The Northman.
Revenge is all I have ever known.
The Northman, rated R.
Oh.
When I say The Northman is one of the, like, we need more movies like this, honestly. Like, this movie was just, it felt like classic Hollywood. Did you feel that, or is it just me?
I definitely felt that, but I will say this. I enjoyed this more than The Witch, but it's a very daring film, but it's not as good as The Lighthouse. That's how I felt. But I
still think The Witch is awesome. I like The Witch, and The Lighthouse is fantastic. And I think that this is underneath The Lighthouse, but The Witch is still pretty good. But no, The Northman, I love the story, the performances. You know, Alexander Skarsgård, this man needs more work. I know I've seen him in many things, but I didn't really know who he was until I watched Kong vs. Godzilla. I'm like, okay, well, you're part of a dynasty family, so you'll get more work. And then he does this. I'm like, oh my God, like, I'll shut up.
I'm excited to see him in Infinity Pool.
Yeah. And then, like, the action, the story, it's not like a whole all heroic story. There are some moral gray lines with it, and I really enjoyed that because characters you think are like, oh, they seem pretty cool, they are not like that. Other characters you're like, they seem like they're going to be villains. No, they actually become like the heroes and everything. And it's like there's so many nuances to the writing and so much layering that I love with it. And dude, the action is badass. Like that's all I can say. It's so badass. They do not.
It's very much like Gladiator.
They do not pull punches. They will show you decapitations, gougings, and stuff. And like, I love this. This is like
he went all out like for
know.
an action. Like it's got some horror elements to it, which like that's a staple for Robert Eggers since he is known as a horror film director.
Mhm.
But he went full action, like side to him. Like I can't think of the other word I want to say for how to describe this film, but it's like but you keep going. It's your take.
But no, I'm gonna say yeah. It's just more like this is God, and the fact that this is on Peacock makes it so much better. I wish, like I said, a lot of these movies I really wish there was like a period in the year I didn't go to the movies a lot. I was on a break, so I had to catch everything at home. Like I really wish I saw this in theaters. Like this was so good because I think I watched this right after I watched Firestarter on Peacock, so it helped me forget about Firestarter.
I got to see The Northman in theaters, and it was worth it to see in a theater. And however, the only thing is, it was so close to making, but I just couldn't put it because of the runtime and just some minor things. Oh, excuse me, but I understand why I made a couple of people's best lists, and it was definitely like an overlooked film that wasn't definitely considered. So yeah, good choice though.
Thank you. What's yours?
My number 2 is actually an Oscar-nominated film, which I'm hoping will take home a Best Picture win. But that is the Daniels film, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Can I say right now that's my number 1?
Yeah, of course. You can say it as your number 1, but this was a film that nobody expected and or saw coming. Like honestly, like were you expecting to see a film that had rocks in it that made you feel emotional in the end?
Honestly, I did say the rock scene is one of my favorite scenes, probably of all time.
It is one of the best scenes, and it's.
And I might buy one of those pet rocks
and pay the $35.
Yep.
But no, this is like has every sort of genre hidden at it, from the sci-fi, the comedy, the drama. Like
this is a film that will have you laughing and then crying in the same scene.
Oh, I was ugly crying when I was watching this because my fiance and I hi Dylan, but we rented this film on a weekend, and we watched it, and then I was like, I wish I saw this in theaters. Like I just made this ugly cry, and he's like, are you crying like at this? I can't say which scene it is because I don't want to spoil it, because the scene I would say that would spoil the film. I don't want to do that because I think people should watch this film. And I was just like, oh my God. And
I think I know what you're talking about.
And just Jamie Lee Curtis alone is actually really good, but Stephanie Hensue, oh my God, this girl.
I was gonna say Michelle was my standout.
Oh my gosh, that girl and Michelle Yeoh and Ke Quan, just the three of them alone. Oh my God, I don't know, like I thought that this was like the cast, like the dream cast that just performs like to their roles to like the way best out of their ability. Like it's like they feel like real people, that they're relatable enough, and just everything in this film just made me feel happy and just invested every single minute. And I was having a ball of a time with this film, and it's just wildly original and just something that, I didn't realize that the Russo brothers even produced, but then I was like, oh, this would be like the cinematic universe if it was rated R to an extreme degree. And what do you know? The Russo brothers are the producers of it.
I'm not
like, what in the world?
Well, I'll tell you what, with Everything Everywhere All at Once, it's definitely a movie where I feel like that no one really, when you saw the trailer, you're like, it made you go, okay, I want to see this because this looks very interesting.
different.
I watched it for my birthday and I absolutely loved it. And I was like, this is a great birthday gift to end it off with. Like, it was awesome.
And to be fair, the Daniels directed Swiss Army Man, and Swiss Army Man is not particularly my favorite film, but it was
still good.
It was, to me, it was just okay. But then I was like, what they did with this with Everything Everywhere All at Once, you could say forget Swiss Army Man. This is what should have been like their first feature film, but they had to get their rock started out. But this is just so daring and just wildly, like I said, original. You don't see anything like this from Hollywood or anywhere. This is true independent film, and just
I'll say this. I said this in my video. A24 was like prime Shaq, untouchable. They had Pearl, they had X, and then they had Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like the A24, I've said this for years.
They had Marcel the Shell. They had 2022 year was their year. Let me tell you.
A24 has been that studio for independent filmmakers for years now. And I feel like it's only a matter of time. If Everything Everywhere All at Once wins best picture, then more eyes are going to be more on A24, because A24 has they don't have a lot of misses on their hands. They have some movies that aren't good, like Zola. That one wasn't good, but a lot of their other movies they're either good or great, or they're fantastic. There's no I wouldn't say there's one terrible A24 movie.
They always release that one film that's also every year that's stick in the mud, but otherwise they tend to pick projects where it's either a first time director or something that they haven't seen from a director from a while, that's very out of this world, and just think that audience would want to put their money and time into, because they care about the audience, honestly, and they just care about the art form and just for looking for creativity.
I wouldn't be
surprised. This is definitely creative.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if Everything Everywhere All at Once wins best picture, that more studios might look at the A24 model and try to copy it.
The studios know what they're up against with A24, and they always have to compete with the art house film, and art house have to compete with the big blockbusters, because my number one is a blockbuster film.
What is the number one? Because my number one was Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I constantly beat myself up. I was like, should I put this film at number one? But I'm like, no.
I think I know what it is.
It is Top Gun Maverick, and I'm not saying anything different. And I think Joseph Kosinski did a really great job with the film, and just the acknowledgement that they did to the original Top Gun director of what? Sorry, my Molly's talking to me, and she's not letting me look at my notes from the computer. But from the original Top Gun film from Tony Scott, they paid great homage to that and bringing what he delivered from the original Top Gun film to the new one. And I'm not saying anything different. It's a great movie with great performances from even Tom Cruise was outstanding in the role that he's born to play. Honestly, I'm not saying anything different, and I'm happy I saw it in theaters.
There you go. But I guess I'll end it off on my honorable mentions list, because there's a lot. So my honorable mentions for the best movies for 2022: Turning Red, The Menu, Lost City, The Weird Al Yankovic Story, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, Avatar: The Way of Water, Minions: Rise of Gru. Yes, Minions, I did enjoy that movie. Triple R, Elvis, Glass Onion, Ambulance, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Jackass Forever, X, Pearl, Tar, and The Whale.
I'm surprised. What did you think of Pearl and X? Because Mac actually gave me a copy of Pearl for Christmas this year.
Yes, I did. I like both of them. I was not expecting that, because I was like, let me see what this girl was talking about. That this movie's good. I need to watch it. And I was entertained in I loved it. Entertained. I loved it. This is great. There was two great, and I can't wait for the third one. What was the third one called again?
Maxine, and there's 3 X's and Maxine.
I can't wait for Maxine. It's gonna be the triple X of the Pearl cinematic universe. So
yeah, it'll be the conclusion.
Vin Diesel will be in it. Maybe Ice Cube, triple X.
Oh gosh, imagine that.
But
Pearl will be walking around with an axe saying, "Yeah, I'm the star."
Oh my gosh. But yeah, that was our top 10 best films of the year. And I feel like that we got a lot more positivity out than the last episode, because a lot of movies sucked last year. What can I say? But Kristen, 2022, do you think it was an improvement?
Definitely an improvement, that's for sure.
But
what about you? What do you think? Was it an improvement?
I'd say it was, because I feel like when I was watching my 2021 list when we were recording, I said, wow, the fact that I had Eternals and Army of the Dead at 10 or 9 means that movie that year sucked. But like oh my gosh, like I feel like this was a definite improvement. And then there's so many movies that came out that it didn't even make my honorable. I forgot about Black Phone. I forgot about like what else came out this year? There was just so many movies that came out last year.
There was a lot of movies that came out, and it was worthy of a wait. I mean, with COVID and everything, like Top Gun was waited on for so long, and it's art. That's all it is. And everything exceeded to our expectations. So yeah.
But let us know down in the comments below, what did you enjoy? What was your favorite movie of 2022? And what movies do you think don't deserve to be on the list? Let's get a little controversial there. But Kristen, let the fine folks know what is up next on the podcast. What are we doing?
Up next on our next episode, we will be having a little mini review coming up soon. That will be episode 97, followed by a review / our Valentine's Day, quote unquote, maybe episode. I don't know if it'll be Valentine's Day by the time it gets released, but we are going to be talking their latest Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher film that's going to be hitting Netflix. Uh-oh, my dog is about to bark and won't let me finish the conclusion. Oh no. Hold on. Molly, are you gonna leave? Are you gonna leave, Mom? No. All right. Well, next time we're going to talk about the Reese Witherspoon and Ashton Kutcher film, Your Place or Mine, hitting Netflix this Valentine's Day. And we're going to have a special guest, which we will let you know about soon. And we're all going to lead up to the 100th episode. So we got some episodes planned out for us, Mac. And we also got Ant-Man we're going to discuss too along the way.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can't wait for Ant-Man. Tickets on sale. Maybe Cocaine Bear, right?
Yeah. My dog just stole my socks. What are you doing?
Shout out to Molly and the socks. But
those
yes,
are my socks. Get those back.
As we try to get the socks back, this has been episode 95 of the M&K Productions Podcast. I've been your host, Mac. This has been my co-host, Christian, and then this has been Molly stealing her socks. And we'll see you all in the next episode. Peace.
Bye.
Same shit, you ain't in my lane, bitch. Nah, all that shit it fit, rollie on my wrist. Ay, baby, you a star, I'm my only wish. I'm counting blue hundreds, I'm too money. Ay, and my little bitch, she too lovely. Yeah, hanging up and calling me right back. Ay, baby, why you calling me like that? Yeah.